Today we're here with John McCatherin, who's been here for a little while, and we are at his wonderful home, a great view of the river here. John, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Now, John, we want to come talk to you a little bit. You a man about town. You know a little bit about a lot of stuff, don't you?
Well, I've been hanging around for a long time,
Right.
so some of it rubs off. That's right.
And you're not out on the ATV trails today, and a lot of people are coming up with a challenge. I know that you originally were one of the members of the Carabasset Valley Outdoor Association, and that organization was instrumental in kind of working through some trail rights. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Back about 21 years ago, I think, the Penobscots had closed down their lands, somewhat similar to what's happening right now, and the circumstances were somewhat different. I think they were concerned about refuse and abuse of the property, and so I happened to be on the Board of Selectmen at the time, and I got some folks together to see how we might be able to help out with that situation, and we formed the Carabasset Valley Outdoor Association. There were like a handful of us, and today there's over 1,000 members, so it's quite a success story for that organization. But we did do some work. We implemented an annual cleanup of a lot of the trails, and picked up a lot of stuff that had accrued over the years. Some of it was from the public, but a lot of it was stuff that had been left by contractors and things. So in any event, ultimately we were allowed to reuse the lands, and I must say it's a gift.
Sure.
It's an absolutely incredible piece of property. The Penobscots have been very great to work with, number one, and very kind to let us use this marvelous piece of property. It's an entire township, as you probably know, and over the years, the snowmobile club, the bike club, the ATV club, and other organizations have been able to get permission to use portions of it for their trails, and it's been a real gift. It has been tremendous.
What do you think might be, obviously there's some restrictions now. Do you think it's some of the reasons, refuge and things like that, or is there a bigger reason?
Well, my understanding is, not my understanding, my knowledge is that they have legislation that they're working on that would permit them to convert any lands that they owned into trust lands, which would be more along the model used by the federal government in most Indian areas. And there's been some issues that not everybody can get comfortable with, but I certainly understand their desire to pretty much have control on what is their property, and this legislation would permit them to do that. I know that there have been negotiations and discussions and hearings and all sorts of things, and that they're continuing, and I'm hoping that ultimately there'll be an agreement that'll come forward that'll suit the needs of everybody. But again, I got to tell you, I can't fault these guys for their generosity over the years, and for permitting a large user population, large outdoor population, to really enjoy this marvelous piece of land that they have.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder, are they exploring different options? Do you think, is it the money? Is there maybe a fee or a lease or some kind of agreement that could be forged, or are we even at that point where we can talk about that?
Well, I think there's a pretty wide variety of issues that remain unresolved, but it's coming back before the legislature when it returns, and I'm sure that the talks will continue, the hearings and negotiations will continue, but there seems to be a fairly strong amount of sentiment on behalf of the Indians, and again for good reason.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the town has its concerns, and I think over time, if the conversations will continue, we'll be able to work things out.